G'day everyone. Bit of an update on the Honda build. There's been a bit going on. I've got a bit done. Made a few steps forward. Gonna have to take a few steps back on some things. This won't really be a build video at all. Not that I've been doing that much lately, but I tweaked my back working on a forklift the other day, so I'm sort of just taking it pretty easy. I thought now's a good time to just make a bit of a video on what I've been up to on this over the last couple of months. As I said, there's been some good progress, but there's also some things that I've done that I will have to undo, which is just sort of the nature of these sort of things. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, and finding information about what's going to work and what isn't in this sort of application is pretty difficult. So you'll see what I mean in a minute, but basically the drive line that I've started here, I think is pretty much going to have to get completely scrapped and started again, which is not that big of a deal. It's just time and money. Yeah, and it's as you put more components on this thing, they all have to come together and work together, and the biggest problem there is space. So you have to make compromises places. But anyway, I'll stop talking and I'll show you what I've done. As I say, I won't be doing anything new today, but this is just a bit of an update, and to let you know sort of where I'm going, what I'm thinking. Yeah, let's have a look. Truth be told, I can't really remember where I was at with the last video. So some things that I've done is I've made soft engine mounts, 4 of them. So there's that one there, and there's that chap there, and they go through the factory, what would be the rear lower engine mount on the bike engine. So that works out well. One big 300mm bolt goes through them both. They're using this style of a bushing, which is pressed into this tube that I've made, and then I've welded them onto, yeah, you can see. And then the rear one looks like this setup. So that's onto the chassis, and then it picks up these 2 bolts here, which is a factory engine mount position as well. This is just for my lifting jig, for lifting the engine in and out, because it is coming in and out quite a bit. Now the 4th engine mount I've cut off. That's what this chap here is, and he used to go into that, which is also an engine mount position off the bike. And you lived here somewhere, captured in this. And that worked out well, except when it came time to build the exhaust, which you can see here. My initial plan was for the exhaust to go out this gap here, but it was just never going to happen. So when I started to build this exhaust, that became apparent. So I had to come out the front of the engine, and the engine mount position was a problem. So I cut it off, and I'll change that. That's not a big deal. So these are 1 3/4 90-degree bends. It is not equal length. It is not some high flow, perfectly calculated thing. It fits, which was really hard to do. So I bought a 2-into-1 slip collector here. So these 2 come down and into the top collector, and then these two come down and into the bottom of the collector. There's a lot of considerations here, so it's all very well to build this manifold on the chassis like this, but once you've got a body on the car, it'd basically be impossible to get these things off if I ever needed to do any sort of maintenance or have them off for whatever reason. So I've made them in as many pieces as I can. So you know, you've got this one small piece here, small slip collector here, and what I plan on doing is, once the body's on, is cutting a large sort of inspection plate into the inner wheel arch that sort of bolts on and off. So if I ever do need to get in here, let's say to do an oil change, because there's your oil filter, you lift the car up, you take that inspection panel off, and then you've got access in there. So that's that. And then this collector came with, I don't know, about 120 mil of just snout hanging off it. So I've made a pie cut bend, which I tend to avoid pie cuts because unless you really need them, they're pretty much a waste of time. But I did really need it in this situation. You can sort of see the difference in radius. So I think what this will do, that's a V-band joint there. So I'll just chuck a V-band. I think I'll just go another V-band, another pie cut bend straight down through this and out the back. That's my current plan. It might change. So that's that. Let's have a look at the brakes. All right, so this is what I got going. This plate here, which picks up the 4 hub bolt positions. I designed this and then had my local machine shop make them up for me. So I'm really pleased with these. They're, as far as I can tell, they're going to work quite well. And these hubs, same thing. I prototyped them up, and this, you know, just goes on there and converts the Honda drum front brakes to Subaru disc. So this has all worked out quite well. One of my current problems on my list is ball joints and bushings. So you've got these ball joints here, those 3, and these bushings here, which are quite weird. So still working on that problem. But yeah, the list is endless. So that's something I'm working on. Over here we've got the gear shift linkage. So I've picked up that engine mount position, and I've made this bell crank here. Seems to work quite well. Then I made this push rod that goes down to the factory foot lever. And what I did is I took the rubber boot off the end of the gear selector, and it turned out that it's quite a convenient size, and so I've run a die nut over it for an 8mm nut. Whether this stays like this, I'm not sure. I think it's probably going to be strong enough, but we'll see. I might end up just, I don't know, welding something here or drilling a hole or something, not sure. But that's that. That is a Quaife reverse box that I bought from the UK, which is very nice. I'm very pleased with that. This is a CV front axle out of an Impreza. I don't think, in retrospect, that this will work. I knew going in that the speeds were going to be a lot higher than these typically see, because, you know, going through a differential with a, call it 4-to-1 reduction, these are supposed to spin quite a lot slower than a propeller shaft. I thought that might be okay. So I've gone ahead and had some adapters made up. So that one there, which goes to the diff, the reverse box, and that whole shoot and match there, which comes off the sprocket. It's the same thing. I prototyped those and then got my machine shop to make them for me because I don't have the gear to get that sort of accuracy, unfortunately. So, you know, I made this, but I'm not happy with it. It's, I don't think it'll last. I don't think it will deal with the RPM, particularly not at that angle there. That's about 20 degrees. Now I've read that, you know, a CV can go through about 45 degrees and still be functional. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. So this is probably going to change very drastically. You can buy what are called high-speed CVs, which I'm looking into currently. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen here, but it's not going to be what we see here. I think that angle's too great. I don't think this CV shaft is up to it. Yeah, so that's unfortunate, but just part of doing a job like this, I guess. So the other big change, I suppose, is the rear suspension since you've last seen it. So this is all just prototyping for geometry's sake. Like, you know, that's just a piece of gal pipe which you would never use. It's all just tacked together. But I'm pretty happy with this. It might be a little soft. It's sort of hard to know. But I think what I'm going to do is run with these geometries. And then maybe down the track, if it is too soft, buy stiffer springs for these shocks. But I think they're okay. I think this is a good start, if nothing else. And yeah, I think that's about it for progress. So just a bit of a walk around there. If you got any questions, let me know. I've only got about 3 people that watch these videos, so I will answer. If you got any suggestions, let me know. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.